guys, welcome back to another Gimpys Gal Guesses. It's been a little while. I don't really think there's been any particular reason. There just hasn't been anything coming in that Gimpy wanted me to guess. So now that there is, I'm going to be probably doing two back-to-back. So you'll see the same me, same night, two different videos. The first one is a GMT game. This is called Apocalypse Road. And it says game design is by Carla and Jeff Horger, however you pronounce that. I don't know, obviously I don't know anything about any of these. That's why I'm guessing them. If you're new though, this is not meant to explain the game to you or have any real true factual information. It's just for fun. It's just me trying to take whatever's in the box and figure out how you play a game with it. So if you want to watch it, keep watching. If you like these, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, guys. Like, I hate doing that because I know when I watch YouTube, I hate when people go on long rants about it, but honestly, it really does help. And being a wife of someone who's put so much time and energy into his channel, it's heartbreaking that something like 80%, or maybe it's even more than that, are not subscribed. So make sure you're subscribed. And if you want to see me guess Apocalypse Road by GMT, then keep watching. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the front of the box. I hope that light is not like washing me out too much, but I'm pretty pale, so you might not see any features on my face. Every time I look at it, I'm blinded. So I'm trying to just look straight forward. Anyways, the front of the box gives me a very, what is the name of that movie? Mad Max. Gives me a very Mad Max kind of a feel with the cool kind of American muscle car, but it's been like souped up for like a war machine. Like there's a missile launcher thing on it. It looks very apocalyptic in the background. I'm really into the aesthetics of the box so far, but that is the front. And it's very heavy, so I'm just gonna take the lid off, take the stuff out, and then we'll look at the back. Just because it's so heavy. I don't want to keep flipping everything around. So that's the contents, and then here's the back of the box. So the back of the box, we have gameplay in the bleak future, which doesn't sound too far off. Anyways, there's like little car pieces down here. Game content. So we have 4 racetracks on 2 boards, front and back. We have 80 car tokens, 1 sheet of tokens, 96 race cards, not cars, cards, 56 movement event cards, 48 combat event cards, 10 team mats, that's like a tongue twister, 10 team mats, 10 team mats, 10 team mats, 10 team mats. You try it. 1 rule book. And then it looks like we have 2 to 10 players, so that's a lot of players. Ages 14 and up, 90-minute playtime. It is a medium of 4 on the game complexity scale out of 9. And on the solitaire suitability, it's on the low end, it's a 3. But it's not a 0, so that means you can play it solitaire. So that is the back of the box. And it does have a nice little divider in it with the same kind of artwork as the front of the box, which I do like these dividers. It just makes it easier. Like the cards fit perfectly in here and then everything goes on top. Organization is key to a happy, happy me. So there we go. So let's just put these, I was gonna set that there because can't fit it over there. And that way I can look, I can reference what the contents are. I should probably just set it here where I can like see it. It's not in frame, maybe. That's kind of far away. My vision is not that great, but we'll try it. So here are the 96, excuse me, 96 race cards, I'm assuming. Although these all have different things on them. So we have a race deck, movement event, and combat event. So it did say there's 48 combat event cards, which is this one here. And then 56 movement event cards, which is this deck here. And then there are, how many, what does it say these race? I guess these are the 96 race cards. It just says race deck, so that's probably what that means. That's what these are. So we have these cards here. Like the back of these, we have like a line movement with a picture of a car +1 on it on the movement event. Just to give you an example, I'm not going to open them up because there's a lot of cards and I always am worried I'm going to mix something up, I'm going to lose something, I'm going to do something to destroy it. So when there's this many cards, I'm probably not going to open them. But I might have to if I can't figure out from what I do have access to. So that was the race deck. So the race deck, both of them are the same, but obviously there's going to be different cards in the deck. But they say line movement +1. And that was the race deck. And then for the movement deck, we have on the back, as an example, drift. The active car may swap places with a car linked directly in front of it. So some type of event that affects your movement in the game. And it's obviously a racing game because there's racetracks and there's cars, and we can deduce that from what we've gathered so far. And then the combat event cards, which look like this. An example, we have a bump and run. The active car may choose to move one adjacent car, front, side, rear. So any car that's to the front, to the side, or the rear of them into a different space. That space must be vacant and adjacent to the targeted car. So you can kind of move them around you. So that is a combat event card. So to me, it sounds like the movement ones are going to affect you mostly. Yeah, the active car may swap places. So this one is affecting another player, but the movement is your movement. And then the combat is you're affecting someone else that you're playing against. So those are examples of the cards. Again, if I need to open them up, I will, but if I don't have to, I'm not going to. And it did say there's 4 racetracks. So there's 2 boards and 4 racetracks because it's front and back. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this back in the bag, but we'll take these out so we can look at them. They're very, very thick cardboard. I can tell you that right off the bat. Super sturdy, super thick. So we will open one at a time though. And I don't know how much of this is going to fit in frame, but we will try our best. And it's not all going to fit, I'm guessing. I don't know how much of this. It might all fit. I'd have to stand up and look, and I'm not going to do that because I am clumsy and I am very pregnant and I do not want to fall. So we're not going to risk that. So hopefully majority of this is in frame. I know I always think that my frame is like the size of the camera. So when I'm trying to get stuff in frame, like before I figured this out, I would try to have it in like this little square space, not realizing that like that's a wide angle, like it's a really good camera and it's going to pick up a lot more space than what it looks like physically on the back of the camera. So, oops, that was a dumb me thing that I used to think. But now I know better. So I still don't know if this whole thing is going to fit. So I might slide it around just so you can see the whole thing. But it's just a racetrack. It looks very apocalyptic around it. There's like a parking lot here with some cars and some trucks and things. There's like some decrepit buildings. And then it just looks like a racetrack. There are 40 spots on this racetrack here. This looks like maybe where they start. This looks like the finish line. I don't know if you go around a lot of times, if you just go around once. It says it's a 90-minute playtime. I'd have to play through or see it play through to guess how long it takes to get around to figure out if it's a 1-lap game or a multiple lap game or race. So we'll have to wait and see what Gimpy figures out when he actually learns the game and doesn't just go based off of my perfect, always spot on guess. That was sarcasm. There is a place for the cards and cars. There's a place right here for the destroyed cars, but there's also a place over here for race cards. So I guess the decks can go here in some capacity. At the bottom, I'll slide it up so we can make sure this is in frame. We have Archmage engines, Baguette bakers, Big Damn heroes, Deadbeats. This must be like teams or something, or like sponsors. Gelato Division, Hazelton Mountaineers, Pockets Racing, Thunder Miners, Vila's Rangers, and Extreme Hazard. My guess is those are like in NASCAR. There's sponsors, those or teams even. There's sponsors and there's like different Like, I used to live literally a minute up the road from Richard Childress, who's huge in racing. And so there's like Childress Racing, which is like a team where there's multiple different people who race under the Childress name, but they're still individual racers. I'm guessing that's kind of like what the bottom represents, but we'll have to wait and see. And then there is a sequence of play in the bottom corner right here. And I'll read that super quickly. So sequence of play, we have fill hands, like FILL hands, 4.3, probably referencing something in the rule book, I'm guessing. Perform action segments, 4.4. And then it says A, underneath number 2, it says A, play one race card and select card to be activated. And then B, move the car. Active car may shoot its weapon either is emphasized here, either before any movement is made or after all movement is completed. And then C, flip car to its reverse side. Repeat until all cars have been activated. Then the last step in the sequence of play is perform end of turn sequence, 4.5. And then A, so underneath number 3 is 3A, discard unwanted race cards. And then B, assign first player. So that's what is on that side of the racetrack. And this one is Andover Autodrome. Andover, Hampshire, England. So that's where this one is taking place. So don't have to even guess the when or the where, because it tells us. And here's the back. This one is in America. This one is in Springfield, Ohio. The Ascendarium. So we have the place for the race cars at the bottom corner. Same sequence of play over here in this corner. And then you have a place for the destroyed cars. It's just a different shaped track. It looks like the finish line is here. I'm guessing these are the starting positions and you go around. And then I guess you could go this way or just go up here and win. I don't know, but that's what it looks like. Again, we have some decrepit buildings and some, very apocalyptic looking grounds surrounding the racetrack. There is something on this side called the chute right here. I don't know if that was on the other one as well. I did not see that. Sorry, I'm just checking. Oh, there is. So there's the chute too. We just missed it. So yeah, so that's pretty much the only difference is just the shape of the track and the location. But how you play, I'm assuming, is the same no matter what track you're playing on. That's just a guess. But that is the first board or the first 2 racetracks because it is front and back. So let's fold that one up. And then we have the second one. And they are very large. So I see when they say up to 10 players, that sounds like a lot of players for a board game. This board's pretty big, so I guess it is possible. So then we have the McGowan Origel Sugar Run in Los Mochis, Mexico. And this one looks a little more deserty, I guess, but it's still very apocalyptic. We have sequence of play in the top corner, combat cards in the bottom. The other ones did not have combat card sections that I saw. So this one must be, maybe there's a track that you don't combat or you can't have combat on, and then this one you can, but I didn't see a space for combat cards on the other racetracks. So I'll have to see if I just missed it. There is a place for the destroyed cars. There is the chute and the race cards at the top. And yeah, again, this one, you have your spaces here at the bottom. And I guess you go around and this is the finish line right here. So, and you have the same names across the bottom as we did on that first track that we looked at. And I'm gonna flip this one to look at our 4th and final track, which is in Washington, DC. How fitting. The Tri-Night Crater Run. We have destroyed cars, race cards, no combat card section, but again, sequence of play. The different teams are listed here. And this one looks like DC. You have USA here. I don't see, okay, there's a crater over here, clearly. That must be the Tri-Night Crater, whatever used to be in its place. We'll never know. But again, a lot of destroyed buildings, decrepit, rundown buildings, and wasteland surrounding the racetrack. This one looks a little more weathered. The other tracks on the other board were like some parts of them were paved. These both look a lot more weathered, a lot more rundown. So I don't know if there's like a story that goes with each track or like a scenario that goes with each track that maybe changes it up and explains, you know, maybe this makes it harder because it isn't paved. So maybe it affects your movement. It affects the way you race. We'll have to, again, wait and see. But those were the 4 racetracks on the 2-sided board. The 4 racetracks on the 2-sided boards. And then, so we've done the cards and the boards. So then we have 80 car tokens and then 1 sheet of tokens. There is 10 team maps and mats. I keep saying maps and 1 rule book. So here is the 1 sheet of tokens, which is promising to me because I don't have to show you a ton of tokens. Look pretty simple. We have some damage tokens at the top, some reloading, some suppress. This one is to indicate who the first player is. We have like the different teams we saw on the board. So we have the Deadbeats, the Hazelton Mountaineers, the Big Damn Heroes, the Villas Rangers, Extreme Hazard, Archmage Engines, Gelato Division, Baguette Bakers, Pockets Racing, and Thunder Miners. And then we have Spin Around. So that's all. That is the front, and it does say front. And then the back, we have damage. So those are the same. Reloading, suppress, those are all the same. Spin Around is the same. And then all of these just have 1 victory point. So I guess you can collect these. Maybe if you hurt another car, maybe if you pass them, you get to take one of their team's victory points. Maybe it's just you collect your own team's victory points. I don't know, but there is victory points because that's what these all have, victory points on the back of them. And it is like a team thing, it looks like, because I saw those names at the bottom. So I'm trying to put 2 and 2 together here. But yeah, those were the tokens. And then we had, how many cars were there? 80. There's 80 car tokens. So we'll start with sheet 1 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 6 is what, 42? Right. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Yeah. I'm doing the math in my head, so that's right. So there's 42 on this side, 42 front and back, and then this one has a little bit less. So that comes to a total of 96, I'm guessing. So we have, looks like the colors coordinate with those little team signs we saw. And they have different numbers on them. Some have, like, this one says mom. We have 1MN. We have ol, bull. Maybe you can like spell a word out if you put them together. This one just says poo. That's nice. And then a bunch of numbers. This one has like an expletive thing on it. Just to show you kind of a closer look of those. And the back of them looks the same. I don't really see anything different. Yeah, I don't think there's anything different front or back of them. There's a number. There's number 2. So this all has, this is the back, this is the front. So the front has number 1 on some of them. And then number 2, like at the bottom corner here, there's a number. These have 1, and then the rest of these have 2. And then when you flip them, they all have 2. No, these have 1, 2. So yeah, there's nothing different. 1, 2, 1 also. There's nothing different front or back from what I can see. Is the color different? No. Maybe it's a little bit darker on the back than it is on the front, like the background color, but that's, you're not seeing a whole lot of that on the car, so I don't think that matters. But yeah, those are the cars, first sheet of them. And then the second sheet, we have just some more, again, more colors, pink, purples, yellows, greens, golds, blacks, blues, whites. We got it all. That's the back of sheet 2, and that's the front. And again, these have like number 1 on the front of them. Some of them have 3 on the front, 2. So maybe it's like, as you upgrade a different token. Instead of upgrading the token you have, maybe you get a different token to represent that you've souped that car up. I'm guessing. I don't know, but that is what they look like. And then we're on to the 10 team mats. So these are teams. We were correct about that. So we have the sheet for, or the mat, excuse me, for the Hazleton Mountaineers, which is based out of Hazleton, Pennsylvania. And it looks like the cars that go on this team have like their own little like stat sheet. There is names, like we have Jean-Luc Frankenstein Simard, Dangerous Derek Camel, Lob Jammer, Maria the Maniac Siamel, I don't know, Soon Sin Lee, Zach Dashel, Trisha C. Mahaffey, and then Thor. So that's the Hazleton Mountaineers. I'm not going to read all the names because it'll take a while. There's a bunch of different team names, but Kitchen Sink McKinney. That's the Thunder Miners, which are from Lake Erie Canyon. Then we have the Extreme Hazard Road Racing, which is from Mount McKelvey Bioweapons Research Station in Antarctica. Interesting. That's why we have the Extreme Hazard. It's a biohazard research station. And again, cool names. We have Francis Killer LaLumiere and Frankie Firefly Geldof. So just a couple of names on that one. But that was the Extreme Hazard Road Racing team. The Deadbeats from Orlando, Florida. Look like this. The purple with little skull with like the DJ looking thing going on. Teresa the Dominator White is on this team. The Fearless Jarl is on this one. I don't know why that gives me vibes from World of Warcraft. What was his name? Leroy Jenkins. I wish there was a Leroy Jenkins. That would be hilarious. That is the Deadbeats. And then we have Gelato Division. I guess literally just gelato is what I'm guessing. See if there's any cool names on here. Marta, that's pretty awesome. Tyrone the Monster. Dasher Karsten. Fred Bababooey Mund. That's my favorite so far. So that's the Gelato Division from Ultima Thule St. Mo. Whatever that means. Baguette Bakers. San Francisco, California. And we have any cool names on this one? Greg Gory Clinzy, Payne DeMele, Moxie Moxer Murdoch. Now that's a good tongue twister. Tori Murdoch. So some of them you see like the same last name. So I don't know if they're siblings, if they're spouses, if they're related, but that's kind of cool to see. But that is the Baguette Bakers team. Then you have the Archmage Engines from Baraboo, Wisconsin. And any cool names on this one? That's all I'm looking for really now at this point. Tricky Dick Lang. Okay. Old Tubli. Sir Schwick. So that's some of the Archmage Engines player names. And then we have the Villas Rangers from Madison, Wisconsin. John Rock. Chris Bebop Brady. Federico Vettinari Gagliotti, very Italian. Corey Coco Coleman. So yeah, there's some cool names. So that's the VLS Rangers. Pockets Racing from Tampa, Florida. We have Mad Dash Cash. We have Jason Pocket Valdez and Uncle Guido. Those are a few from the Pockets Racing team. And the last one is the Big Damn Heroes. It's funny because I would assume that this would be the one that Gimpy would choose just for the name, but they're pink, so I don't know that he'll do that. It'd be interesting to see what he chooses because he's very big into not doing anything that has to do with pink. So I doubt, even with the name as cool as the Big Damn Heroes, he would choose one of these. We have Emma Bear, Debez. Looks like they're all women on this one. Andy Powell, Gemma Pink Thunder Powell, the Dude, Dapper Dan Parent. Maybe they're not all men or women on this team. Agincourt Charlie. I don't know. Those are weird. Susie Dermar. Nothing crazy on that one, but that is the Big Damn Hero. So those were the team mats. And then last we have the rulebook, which is not a very big rulebook. So it must mean that it's not super hard to learn, but probably hard to master like most good games are. Rules of play, we have the table of contents on the front. It is the paper book, so careful, and it is 15 pages, so not too bad. We'll just kind of flip through it. And it just shows you the overview, the components, the setup, your typical what you would expect to find in a rule book, sequence of play, which is on the board, but it does reference these numbers, like 4.0 is sequence of play. And on the board, when it says that, it'll say 4.2, 4.3, and that's how these are numbered underneath in the rule book. So I was correct when I said I think those numbers referenced the rule book, and they do. And there's another important concepts to take into account. And then, is that all important concepts? No, 7 is movement, and there's a lot on movement. So there's a lot to get down about movement. And then the combat section breaks all that down for you. Damage markers, movement event cards, ending the race and winning, rules for integrating Thunder Alley, and rules for integrating the Grand Prix. So it looks like there's kind of different ways that you can race, not just this is how you race on this track, and it's the same for all of them. It looks like there's different spins and twists and things you could add to make it more fun and kind of change it up. And then the glossary is in the back. There is a chart on the back that says race cards, and it says card type. We have line movement, pursuit movement, solo movement, lead movement, overtake movement, diagonal solo movement, diagonal lead movement, ram movement, and diagonal ram movement, and the number of cards of each speed adjustment, and it's listed out. So that's the rule book. And with that, that's all the contents of this game. So now is the favorite part where I, Gimpys Gal, try to guess, how do you play Apocalypse Road? It's a racing game. There's cars involved, and you can combat each other. There's teams. There can be up to 10 players. It takes place all over the world in different countries and different states in America. It looks really fun. Actually, I really like the kind of Mad Max feel that I get from just the look of it, like the look of the box and the cars. But yeah, it's like a racing board game, and those are always fun. We have one other one that's, I wouldn't say similar, but it's a racing type of a board game. And I can't remember the name of it, but it's the steampunk one, I think, where you build a steampunk car and then you race it around. That one is a lot of fun. And yeah, just thinking about mixing racing and a board game, a lot of people might be like, that's, you know, people who aren't into board games would probably think that doesn't make any sense. But it's cool. And this one, there's no dice. So that's interesting. There is not that many counters, but there's lots of cars and lots of cards in this game. But it looks like a really well-made, fun game to play. So I'm interested to see all the nuances of it, because obviously we know just from the name of it and things we saw throughout my unboxing of it that it's a race. It's a racing game. There's racetracks, there's cars. Hello, put two and two together. As far as like the nuances of it, of how do you draw cards? How do you start the race? How do you pick who's in the first position and who's in the last position? All those things I couldn't find unless I read the rule book, and I'm not going to do that. That's Gimpy's job. My job is the fun, happy, pretty one. His job is to do all the hard work and do that kind of stuff. So that's my guess of Apocalypse Road, if you could even really call it one. It's a racing game. Again, no dice, just cards and cars. And it looks like you're just racing. And there are teams. So again, I don't know how the teams will come into play. I'm interested again to see kind of how this one comes together, because this one looks pretty straightforward, but there's a lot of little things that I just can't picture until Gimpy does it for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Apocalypse Road by GMT Games, and I will see you very soon. Bye guys. Now I have to get my fat butt up, go cut the camera off just to cut it back on again. Boom, 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 boom.